Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the Blue and Gold Club and John Carroll University, welcome to the 2021 JCU Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Brendan Gulick. It's my honor to guide you through tonight's celebration. We're so thankful that you could join us here tonight in the Tony DiCarlo Varsity Center. This is a very special evening. We will induct and recognize 6 individuals and 1 team into the JCU Athletic Hall of Fame. During tonight's program, we'll remember the good memories from eras near and far and celebrate the incredible accomplishments of lots of these fine men and women. We'll do so also with heavy hearts, as we'll miss one very special person tonight. Our dear friend, Chris Wenzler, who hosted this ceremony for 30 years, is not with us anymore. Chris passed away in June of 2020 following a battle with multiple myeloma. Nearly all of you in attendance tonight certainly came across Chris, knew him as either a friend or as a colleague, and you certainly encountered his special spirit and love for John Carroll Athletics. We'll remember Chris tonight with the Wenzler Award, and we will present it to one of his students, Michael Edelman, for the inaugural award. Tonight is about our past, present, and future. We celebrate the inductees who have given wonderful examples of what it means to be a Blue Streak. They have given so much to this university, setting up John Carroll Athletics for terrific success. Here to talk more about Blue Streak Athletics is our Senior Director of Athletics, Michelle Morgan.
Good evening, and welcome to the Tony DiCarlo Varsity Center. It is my honor to welcome you to campus as we enshrine the 2021 class of the John Carroll Athletic Hall of Fame. We're thrilled to have you tonight for the program, and as you know, it's been a hectic year. Amongst the many things that we missed in 2020 was a Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's so wonderful to be returning to that tradition tonight. Despite the pandemic year, our athletes, coaches, and staff have worked hard, resulting in success. Our men's programs won the OAC All-Sports Trophy for a record 6th straight year, and our women's programs fell less than a point short of the first OAC All-Sports Trophy in school history. But yet still, our women's teams took home a total of 8 OAC championships. In addition, our student athletes continue to thrive in the classroom. A total of 141 Blue Streaks made the academic All-OAC list this past year, and we also notched a school record with 5 COSIDA academic All-Americans. Our coaches also continue to inspire our Blue Streaks. We've had a total of 7 OAC Coaches of the Year in 2021, but tonight we celebrate our storied past. We welcome Dave, Lee, Jason, Brandon, Brian, Jamie, and the 2003 men's soccer team into the company of Blue Streak legends. You've demonstrated both on and off the field what it means to be a Blue Streak, a shining example for current and future generations of John Carroll student athletes. We're honored to celebrate your achievements, and tonight we are truly grateful for all that you've done for our university. Congratulations and welcome to the John Carroll Athletic Hall of Fame. I would now like to welcome our president, Al Mikiak, to the stage.
Well, thank you, Michelle. Good evening, everyone. Hey, come on, there's a lot of energy in the room, right? The bar is not closed, I don't think, so let's keep it going. So the first thing I wanted to say is that I am the freshman president, right? So I'm the new president. It's a great honor. And I was looking through NCAA rules to see whether being a freshman president gives me 4 years of eligibility, right? So this is what a defensive tackle looked like in 1979, I have to say. But so allow me to begin by thanking Michelle Morgan, her team, and especially our coaches for the work that they've put in over the last, I'm going to say 2 years. And this is not the work that they do in a traditional way of coaching, right? It's through the pandemic and the extra efforts that has imposed upon them. The work has been 7 days a week, all hours of the day, supporting our athletes on and off the field. So thank you to all the coaches and athletic support staff for all the work they've done during a very, very difficult time. So thank you. Give them a hand. So as a new president, I want to pledge my support again to our athletic director, our coaches, and all our athletic staff. The athletics at John Carroll is an absolutely essential part of the experiential opportunities for our students, in addition to the academics and the personal formation that we provide for them. And so we want to give the tools to our coaches to be successful, the resources they need to be successful, and I will continue to work with our outstanding leader, Michelle, in providing more and better support for our coaches and all of our athletes. So let me first congratulate David, Jamie, Brandon, Lee, Brian, Jason, and the entire 2003 soccer team. Not only did you bring honor and success to John Carroll as athletes, but you have continued to represent the very best that this university has to offer upon your graduation. I also want to acknowledge that the last time we gathered as a community to celebrate our Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, our friend and colleague Chris Wensler was the MC, and I have no doubt that he is with us today. Chris loved this university, and this university loved Chris. I often talk about the 3 pillars of a John Carroll education: academic rigor, experiential opportunity, and personal formation. These pillars guide how we educate, mentor, and challenge our students. And most importantly, these pillars make our graduates successful when they leave us. John Carroll's student athletes take on the challenges presented in these pillars each day. They work tirelessly to distinguish themselves as leaders in the classroom and on the field, court, mat, pool, or diamond. And as a former wrestler as myself, I understand the dedication and competitive spirit necessary to succeed, but I would never step on the mat with the wrestlers of today, or Mark for that matter. They're a lot meaner than I was, back in that. And this is what 185 pounds looked like in 1979. I understand the dedication and the competitive spirit necessary to succeed, and I'm inspired by all of our outstanding student athletes every day. Tonight, we honor the accomplishments of the past while simultaneously working to create inspired futures for the talented student athletes of today. And our alumni and friends present this evening, thank you for your continued support of John Carroll and our students. Once again, congratulations to all of this year's inductees, and thank you all very much for coming tonight.
Thank you, Al and Michelle. At this time, as we prepare for dinner, we'd like to welcome Father Tom Pipp to the stage. Father Pipp is the Director of Ignatian Formation for Mission and Identity at John Carroll, as well as the Rector for the Jesuit Residence. Please welcome Father Pipp, who will give tonight's invocation.
Good evening and welcome. Let us bow our heads and pray. O God, our light and our salvation, this evening we ask you to bless all those gathered here in friendship and fellowship. Thank you for our individual and collective gifts, especially the talents of those we honor this evening, those who will be inducted into the John Carroll Athletics Hall of Fame. We praise you for their dedication to excellence in sports, the excellence which is a hallmark of Jesuit education. Renew in our hearts a commitment to what is foundational to Jesuit education, to be people for and with others, to be bearers of justice and mercy for our world. We give thanks to you for the food we will eat in a world where many go without, for faith in a world where many know only fear, for friends in a world where many know only loneliness. May we be generous in reaching out to those in need. Bless this meal which we will share. Bless those who have prepared it, those who serve it, and those who have worked to make this Hall of Fame evening the great event that it is. For all your gifts, we lift our hearts in gratitude. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Tonight's ceremony is being sponsored by our Blue Gold Club, the official booster organization of John Carroll Athletics. To officially welcome you this evening, as well as making a few special presentations, I'd like to invite up the Blue Gold president and a Hall of Fame football player, a member of the class of 2001, Mr. Brian Filikowski.
Good evening, everyone. First off, I want to thank all of you so much for being here in person tonight. After everything all of us have been through in our own unique ways and challenges, it's super special that we can congregate together and celebrate the crowning achievement for a John Carroll student athlete or team, a ticket into the Athletic Hall of Fame. My name is Brian Filikowski, a proud member of the class of 2001 and 7, and a former member of the football team. I have the distinct honor tonight speaking on behalf of the Blue Gold Club as its current president. And I want to start by thanking those that made this evening a reality. To Michelle Morgan, Joe Ginley, Rory O'Neill, Candace Pluhar, the Blue Gold Club Executive Committee, many of which who are in attendance tonight, and the entire Hall of Fame Selection Committee. Thank you for your time, energy, and commitment. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony is without question the Blue Gold Club's signature event of the year. As the official athletic booster for the university, is our mission to promote, support, and recognize varsity sports at John Carroll. All three of those priorities converge on this event this evening. First and foremost, we are here to recognize 6 individuals and 1 entire team for their incredible accomplishments, both on and off the field. I would personally like to congratulate Dave, Jason, Brian, Brandon, Jamie, Lee, and the 2003 men's soccer team. Tonight you enter an elite club of student athletes at John Carroll that spans over 101 years of varsity athletics. In those 101 years, prior to your enshrinement tonight, there are only 283 individuals and 14 teams currently in the hall. Think about that for a sec. Truly the best of the best. After tonight, your legacy will be memorialized forever within the halls of John Carroll, right up in the hallway above us. Also, tonight, which has also been mentioned before, but definitely deserves another note. Tonight becomes even more special and meaningful going forward, as we will be presenting the inaugural Chris Wensler Award to Michael Edelman. The award will be given annually, starting tonight going forward, to a former student athlete alum that represents everything that Chris and the Jesuit mission of John Carroll University stands for. Michael, congratulations. Your body of work made it a very, very easy decision, and we know who's proud looking down on you tonight. In recognizing these individuals, we promote the greater experience of what John Carroll Athletics is and what it means to be a student athlete here. That legacy that every athlete builds, a lot of us who were athletes in this room build for themselves over their career. That is what is truly special. And I believe that is why student athletes have been and remain one of our strongest financial supporters amongst all alumni segments. And in that vein, it is our ultimate hope that this event garners continued, yet also new support for John Carroll Athletics. Support that goes beyond the impressive turnout of almost 200 proud people in this room tonight. In just a few short minutes, we'll hear from each Hall of Famer as they reflect and talk about their experiences as student athletes and share what this honor means to them. I doubt that any of them will talk about the condition of the weight room equipment that they lifted on, or the room that they held team meetings in, or the scoring table that reflected another John Carroll game that they participated in. Instead, we're likely to hear about the camaraderie forged between teammates, the funny stories, the memories, both in wins and defeats, and the lasting influence of coaches, Jesuits, faculty, and staff. But these experiences and achievements, they cannot happen without those other things, without infrastructure. And that's where the Blue Gold Club fits in. That's our niche. We understand the importance of infrastructure. We help fill in funding gaps with the athletic department, yet we are proactive and look for new opportunities to help our current student athletes in tangible ways. That is why I joined the club immediately after graduating, and is why I serve as president today. We help tangibly, and our impact is immediately felt by our student athletes who are on their own journeys and creating their own legacies this very day. In just the last few years, the Blue Gold Club has invested over $150,000 to improve a variety of varsity projects within the university, starting with the weight room in the Shula Center, which is used by every single varsity team, men and women. We've also funded a new outfield, fence at Bracken Field, new mats for the wrestling team, improved equipment at the indoor golf facility, and a record board for the swim team. Within this last crazy year of the pandemic, we supplied COVID masks to all student athletes. We renovated the Blue Gold room directly above me, which every student athlete at some point stepped foot in. And we literally just cut a check last week for a new scoring table that will be used in this gymnasium for every sporting event going forward. In order to continue these investments, we need your support. If you're not already a member of the Blue Gold Club, please consider becoming one and making a donation. Because while tonight is absolutely about the enshrinement of the inductees, the future of John Carroll athletes depends upon us looking forward and investing in the ones that are following in our footsteps. Again, thank you for all of you for coming tonight, and the inductees. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. And as a public service announcement, please join us tomorrow in the parking lot right across the football field, as the club will be sponsoring a tailgate party before the John Carroll football game. Go Blue Streaks, and thank you.
We will now begin our induction ceremony with our first inductee, Dave Hosey. Dave grew up in the 1960s, as many kids did back then, leave in the morning to play, come back home when streetlights came on. A Michigan kid, he longed to play for the University of Michigan. Indiana did call, but as Dave told Indiana's assistant coach, their style of play was a bit too defensive oriented. As it turns out, Michigan did offer a partial scholarship. So his dad counseled him on the car ride home from his recruiting trip to Ann Arbor, said, "Son, get an education, have fun playing. After all, you won't do this for a living." So Hosey decided on John Carroll. The idea of attending a small school and getting lots of playing time appealed to him. And Dave never lacked for playing time. He quickly became a star for the Blue Streaks, averaged 12.9 points per game as a freshman playing for Ken Esper. Dave nearly transferred from John Carroll after Esper departed following his freshman year. But again, words of wisdom from his father steered him close. His dad said, "Stay at JCU and have fun playing." Well, Dave did stay, and it's a good part of the reason why he is here tonight. Dave became a team captain prior to his sophomore season under coach Ed Janka. Hosey led the team in scoring, 17 points per game in 1974. Dave repeated the feat, leading the team in scoring again as a junior. In 1975, he scored 16.5 points per game that season. He was a three-time All-President's Athletic Conference player, including first-team honors in 1975, second-team recognition in 1973 and 1974. Hosey completed his JCU career in the top 10 in 5 statistical categories. He was 4th in made field goals and in rebounds, 6th in total points and free throw percentage, and he finished 9th in scoring average. Hosey enjoyed many great memories of John Carroll, including playing alongside, quote, the best player I've ever played with in fellow Hall of Famer John Ambrosic. Hosey's Blue Streaks also played in some historic games. They became the first college team to play in the Coliseum and playing the Israeli national team. John Carroll University gave Dave his business administration degree. It was a springboard for his life. He married his college sweetheart, Valerie. Together, they raised 2 sons and 1 daughter. They now enjoy their 4 grandsons, 1 granddaughter, after a very successful 35-year career at General Motors. Please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1976, Dave Hosey.
Good evening. You know, I walked through those doors up there, 1972, 49 years ago. I got to say one thing, the place has changed, but the foundation is still here. An honor like tonight does not happen without the help of a lot of people and opportunities given to you to succeed. I'd first like to thank John Carroll University for giving me that opportunity to play and to graduate. I'd like to thank the selection committee and the supporting leadership for tonight's activities. I'd like to thank Brian Fritz, class of 75, who contacted a lot of us to give input to the book for 100 years of John Carroll basketball. I thought that was absolutely outstanding. I'd like to thank the late Chris Wensley. Chris is the one that brought my name forward. And as I heard the story, had to get a little lesson from Coach Schweikert on how to pronounce my name. It's been so long ago. And obviously many coaches, players, trainers, and support staff. I want to go back and thank, from a coaching perspective, my elementary school coach, Cortez, and my high school coach, Frank Strunk, who obviously none of you have ever met. I'd like to thank Coach Ken Esper, who recruited me to John Carroll and coached me my freshman year. And of course, Ed Janka from Marquette, who learned his trade from Hank Raymonds and Al McGuire. Iconic names of the past. Obviously, some of the players, I won't name them all, it's been a long time. But some of the players I want to thank personally is the late Johnny Ambrosic, Jim Morrissey, Rick Levin and Steve Bergeson, Mike Goldberg and Dickie Mela, the late Dick Anner, Danny Briggs, Chuck Lytle, Terry Gleason, Tim Cannon, Saul Sivas, Jim Skirl and Dave Hodges, and Dennis Hill, and many, many others. I'd like to thank my fraternity brothers of Alpha Kappa Psi. With me tonight is my college roommate and a fraternity brother, Jim Ribnack, and his wife, Mary. And I especially want to make a special thank you to Kathy Manning. You see, as the story goes, I believe it was the year of 74 and 75, Kathy, being the varsity girls coach, had a conference scheduled, and she couldn't make her own practice. And so she asked me to fill in for her. I said, well, what a great opportunity. So I showed up for their practice, and I did what most coaches do when they don't know what the heck they're doing. You make them run, okay? And we worked on pick and rolls, and we especially worked on rebounding fundamentals. And while we're going through the drills, I noticed there's one young lady there who had especially sharp elbows. And I gotta say that as time went on, this young lady became my college sweetheart and the rock of my life. Let me introduce my wife and the starting forward on Kathy Manning's basketball team with the sharp elbows, my wife, Valerie. You know, keep in mind, over the past 45 years, I've felt a heck of a lot of elbows. In closing, I want to borrow a phrase from my commencement speaker, the class of 1976. Many of you don't know who it is. It's Bob Hope. And in closing, I'd just like to say, thanks for the memories. Good night.
In recent years, John Carroll women's basketball has developed into quite the powerhouse program, but it wasn't always that way. On our brand new banners in the back wall of the DeCarlo Varsity Center, you'll see the Blue Streaks have won several OAC championships, and they've made 3 NCAA tournament appearances just in the last decade. That success does not happen without Lee Jennings, or Jeff Camp Jr. for that matter. The Ohio Athletic Conference is one of the toughest conferences to crack, especially in women's basketball. Legendary coaches dot the OAC, so nothing is easy. And for a long time, the Blue Streaks couldn't advance to the OAC championship game. Most years, they'd experience a quarterfinal exit, once in a while make the semifinals. And then Lee Jennings came along. Lee was an unstoppable force for the Blue Streaks. As a guard and forward, Jennings could slash to the basket, find open teammates with a perfect pass, shoot nice jumpers. One of the first to recognize her talents was her own family. The oldest of 4 kids, Lee would practice against her 3 younger brothers, who all had different body types and could mimic different defenders. So in 5th grade, Lee started to play and fell in love with the game. She briefly ran track, but hated running, so basketball it was. Now at first, Lee didn't show star potential. She'd be the last to be picked at recess. That soon changed. She quickly became unguardable, especially when cutting to the basket, and her dad dubbed her the layup queen. Now, her dad used to say, "You won't get anywhere shooting just layups," but Lee would respond, "Well, Dad, you're just mad because you're bad at layups." As it turns out, Lee was right. She became the leading scorer in Stowe Monroe Falls basketball history, and after a great career with the Bulldogs, Lee committed to Bowling Green, but she didn't like being away from home. So she called up Coach Camp, her former coach at Stowe, and who was a JCU assistant at the time. Camp convinced her to come to University Heights, and Jennings quickly became a star. Lee became the school's first D3 Hoops All-American and won all OAC honors all 4 seasons, including first-team recognition 3 times. During her senior year, she was the only women's collegiate basketball player at any level in the NCAA to rank among the top 5 in the nation in both points and assists per game. Lee's powers carried John Carroll to new heights. During her senior year, the Blue Streaks reached the OAC championship game for the very first time. Now, John Carroll didn't win that game, but boy, it laid the groundwork for what is today one of the best programs in America. Jennings' legacy lives on today with that program. Please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 2011, Lee Jennings.
Man, it feels good to be home. I have not been on campus in a while, and I gotta say, there's no better place. I tell people this all the time. John Carroll is the best thing that's ever happened to me. That was never supposed to happen. It's given me so much. It's given me incredible teammates, incredible memories, some of the best friends I've ever had in my life, like Whitney Hamilton. It gave me a coach that cared about me like I was her own. A coach that always asked, how was my day? How was class? And didn't just want to talk about the game or film. John Carroll University made me a whole person. When I walked off the court, I would go to class with Dr. Manning and Dr. Schweikert. And yeah, they would talk to me about the game. And yeah, they would talk to me about how many free throws I missed, but that was it. When class started, it was time for class. When I left Bowling Green, that's what I was searching for, to be a part of a community, to be a whole person. I talked about all the things John Carroll has given me. I wish I could have given John Carroll more. I wish I would have studied harder. I wish I would have practiced harder. Coach, I wish I would have given you that banner. I am so proud of the program that John Carroll women's basketball has today and the banners that you guys have put up and that you will continue to put up. I want to thank my family for all their support over my career over the years, my brothers, my parents, driving to every single game, no matter where it was. I want to thank my fiance who couldn't be here with us tonight. And more importantly, Dad, I know we had bigger dreams, ESPN dreams, Division I dreams. Thank you for allowing me to make this decision to come be the best version of myself. Because the day came where I hung the shoes up, and you're still just as proud as me now as you were then. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
Our next Hall of Fame inductee defines resilience. Growing up in Lima, Ohio, Jason Kessin heard about the importance of resiliency from several of his mentors. But he didn't truly understand why resilience was so important until deep into his John Carroll career. Kessin discovered John Carroll thanks to the persistent recruiting of Kerry Volkman. The Cowboy herded Kessin to JCU, finally convincing him to choose JCU in May of 1992. As is the case with many freshmen, Jason's first year was a bit of an eye-opener, an 11-9 record. After a great offseason, Jason finished as the OAC runner-up at 150 pounds, and he made it to the NCAA tournament. But in the All-American round, Jason lost to a wrestler that he had beaten previously that season. Jason's junior year looked to be his breakout campaign. He finished second at the West Virginia Open, which was a Division I meet, and he beat an Ohio State wrestler. Just a week later, the OSU wrestler got vengeance, beating Jason and breaking his wrist in the process. Jason's senior season went well. He again placed in the OAC tournament, qualified for the NCAA championships, but fell short of his All-American goal. And after his senior year, he encountered another curveball. He graduated in May of 1996, but he didn't get into veterinary school. So Jason figured he'd return to take graduate classes at John Carroll and burn that final year of eligibility. His brother Jim was starting as a freshman, so further incentive to stay. Well, in his 5th year, Jason learned why resilience is so valuable. He punched his ticket to the NCAA championships with a runner-up finish at 158 pounds, and this time he broke through. In 1997, the national tournament was held at Ohio Northern, so a significant JCU contingent traveled just a couple hours to Ada. With family and friends watching matchside, Jason won his All-American match, at last achieving his top goal. Kessin calls that moment the pinnacle of his JCU career. The term streaks supporting streaks is now in vogue, but Jason's championship moment proves that JCU student athletes have always supported one another. As Jason remembers, all the athletes got along well. At the end of his John Carroll career, he sat 7th all-time in program history with 89 wins, including a pretty impressive 7-6 record at the national meet. That persistence paid off, and his resilience served him well in life. Jason got into vet school after a couple of tries and graduated from Ohio State in 2002. Since then, he's opened up a vet practice with his wife. They've had 4 beautiful kids. A resilient man indeed. Please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1996, Jason Kessin.
I would first like to congratulate my fellow inductees and to also say thank you to the Blue Gold Club and Hall of Fame Committee for this unbelievably great honor. I must say I was shocked, humbled, and speechless when I received the call from Brian. I might also add that I had some anxiety afterwards once I realized I had to give this speech, as it brought back memories of that dreaded speech class we had to take in order to and pass in order to graduate. To be honest, I've spent a lot of time thinking and reflecting on what to say. In the end, I've come to the conclusion that tonight I need to speak about family and to say thank you to everyone that influenced and impacted my life while here at Carroll. I want to start by sharing a moment that occurred when Coach Volkman was given a post-practice talk before we left for Christmas break. During that talk, Coach told us to make sure we go home, tell your parents, or wherever it may be in your life, to make sure you go home, give them a hug, and tell them you love them, and thank them for making the sacrifice that they are making in order to send us to John Carroll. I like to think that I followed Coach's instructions and did that on a regular basis back then, but it may not be so much lately. So Mom and Dad, I want to tell you once again from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and I love you so much, because without your unconditional love, support, and sacrifices, I would not have been able to attend John Carroll and therefore be standing here tonight. During a speech like this, I feel most people would probably mention their best friend, but I would rather mention my worst friend and college roommate, Andy Worst. You are a true friend, and I cannot thank you enough for your friendship. It's something that I cherish daily. I think it goes without saying that my wrestling teammates were like a family, brothers to me. I also want to mention that I always felt John Carroll had a larger athletic family, with each athletic team supporting each other. It didn't matter where you were on campus or off campus, you could always have a conversation with other coaches or fellow athletes. That is something that I really enjoyed while here at Carroll. Also, while here at John Carroll, I was fortunate enough to have been surrounded by not only great athletes, great coaches, great wrestlers, but more importantly, great people. The legends before me that built the foundation, gave me the blueprints to follow, pushed and guided me down the road to success. I need to give a sincere thank you to Coach Volkman, Nick Salentino, Walt Karenbauer, Mike Gilmore, Ken Cardeman, Dale Caprosi, Chris Conley, Tim Bank, Dave Bacaizo, Joe Schmidt, Dan Single, Scott Eisenman, Carl DiBernardo, Dave McClafferty, Stan Rhodes, Andy Wurst, JJ Husko, Matt Colucci, John McGuire, Anthony Periano, Chris Roman, Nate Samblanet, Rich Esledge, Jim Ayers, Mike Stahl, Jimmy Lake, Justin Kerr, Brandon Steinmetz, Shane Mignano, and so many more, as well as the late Doc Floyd, Chris Wensler, and Tony DiCarlo. I know and fear that I've forgotten someone, so please forgive me. Next, I need to say thank you to the training staff, specifically Don McPhillips and Jamie Hurley, for without their efforts, I would not have been able to accomplish what I accomplished here at John Carroll. Finally, I am so lucky to be able to experience this weekend and share this great honor with my family. My wonderful and beautiful wife, Sandra, and children, Alexandra, Eddie, AJ, and Isaac, as well as my brother, Jim, and his family, and my sister, Kelly, and her family. In conclusion, I feel I have failed to say thank you to someone. So I want to say, not for the last time, but rather one more time, thank you to everyone who influenced and impacted my life. I know I can never repay or thank you enough, but I hope to continue to pay it forward. With that, I want to say once again, thank you, and go Blue Streaks.
At this time, we'd like to welcome a very special guest to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Wensler, classes of 1990 and 2009. She's the Assistant Director of Enrollment and the wonderful wife of the late Chris Wensler. Melissa will present the Blue Gold Club's inaugural Chris Wensler Award.
Good evening, and congratulations to all of the newest Hall of Fame members. It's an honor to share this evening with you. So if you've ever been to a JCU Athletic Hall of Fame event, clearly we're missing somebody tonight. A person who embodied what John Carroll and the Blue Streaks are all about. A person who worked countless hours for the good of the university and for the student athletes, coaches, and the programs. Each and every day, Chris came to work. He humbly promoted student athletes, the coaches, administrators, but never himself. Over his 30 years as sports information director, Chris demonstrated the values of JCU. He was a teacher, a giver, a mentor. He passed on his knowledge to thousands of students in the athletic department and in his sports information office. Many of you worked with him or for him. You know what kind of man he really was and how much he really cared not only for our athletic programs, but for the John Carroll community as a whole. He really was a true man of Carroll. During his tenure here, Chris worked very hard to make this event what it is today. It really was the highlight of his year. He loved this event. So he would lead the voting process, he would communicate with the inductees, he would write the script, put together the program, and serve as the MC. He did it all. So in 2019, Chris was enshrined into the Hall of Fame, and it was certainly an honor that he never sought, but it was a well-deserved one. Less than a year later, in June of 2020, unfortunately, Chris succumbed with his brave battle with multiple myeloma, and he certainly left us too soon. But he did not leave us empty-handed. He left a legacy for us, a blueprint to live our lives by, how to teach, to lead, and to serve. How to be a mentor, and how to give back to the next generation. One of the student athletes that he gave back to was Michael Edelman. A Canton native, Michael has worked in the sports information office and has been a member of the men's soccer team since 2017. Over the course of his time at John Carroll, Michael has become a key part of the fabric of JCU athletics and of sports information. Michael has developed into a confident servant leader here at John Carroll. He has served as team captain for the men's soccer team since the spring, and he previously served as president of SAC, the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. You can't help but notice Michael around campus, especially with that great head of red hair. He's a double major in business management and human resources along with sports studies. He's an excellent student, and he has been a 3-time academic All-OAC honoree. So in short, Michael defines everything that Chris represented in his 30 years at John Carroll: hard work, kindness, courage, leadership, humility. Michael is a true man of Carroll, just like Chris. So it is my honor and my sincere privilege tonight to present Michael Edelman with the Wensler Award, the very first recipient. Congratulations, Michael.
Good evening. First of all, congratulations to all of tonight's inductees. I am incredibly honored to receive the Wensler Award. To me, an award with the Wensler name attached to it is the most meaningful award I could receive as a student athlete at Carroll. It means much more than any award I could ever earn on the soccer field. The respect and admiration I have for Chris Wensler will continue to inspire me for the entirety of my life. I would like to thank the Blue Gold Club and the selection committee for choosing me as the recipient of this award. Thank you to my coaches and my teammates for making it so enjoyable to be a John Carroll soccer player. Thank you to my mom and dad for instilling these values in me from a young age and being so supportive of my career on and off the field. And my final and most important thank you goes to all of the Wensler family. Accepting me in your family and as a Wensler warrior is something that has changed my life, and I will always be grateful for. I appreciate you guys more than you know. I'm extremely lucky to have been able to work for and get to know Chris during my time at JCU. Chris was the definition of a man for others. He inspired me to be a better person, a better teammate, a better leader. Tonight, I'd like to touch on a few of the most impactful lessons Chris taught me. Chris had a work ethic like no other. He poured his heart into everything he did, and he influenced the ones around him to always do their best work. I still remember my junior year. We had a road game in Pittsburgh. It was on a Sunday, and it had to be close to 100 degrees. Because I worked in sports info, I knew it was Chris's first day off in over 3 weeks. A well-deserved day off for a super busy SID and someone in the middle of a battle with cancer. Or so I thought. Our warm-up ended and we walked off the field to see Chris standing on the sideline, camera in hand, smile on his face, ready to take pictures of us. The sports info department had already taken plenty of pictures of us that season. What person would spend their first day off in weeks, driving over 2 hours to an away game to take pictures that they really didn't need while they were battling cancer? Chris would. I think that story tells you a little bit about Chris's dedication to our university, to us athletes, and about his commitment and enthusiasm for his job. Every single day he came to campus, he gave 100%. I will always remember Chris for his work ethic and for doing anything he could to give us athletes the best experience possible. Another thing I loved about Chris was how he treated everybody the exact same way. Didn't matter who you were, where you came from, how good you were at something, he always treated you the same way. There's a quote that goes like this: people might not remember what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Chris had this unique ability to make everyone he encountered feel special and feel valued, no matter who they were. He believed in his people and trusted them to succeed at anything they did. At the end of the day, Chris had a way to make everybody feel good and everybody be happy. And isn't that the most important thing in life? And finally, Chris brought a positive attitude to everything he did. I actually only knew Chris on a personal level during the time that he had cancer, and I still saw the enormous amount of positivity that he shared with the world. I will always remember one of his tweets. It went like this: bone marrow biopsy at 8:30, game notes at 9:30. Why? Because I am an SID, and that's what I do. And F cancer, that's why. How's your morning? And it had 2 selfies attached to the tweet. One of them with his big smile of him sitting on his hospital bed, and then another one just an hour later with that same big smile sitting in his office working on those game notes. I think that tweet itself sums up just about everything you need to know about Chris. His positive attitude, smiling no matter what, his dedication to the people he worked for and with, and his inspirational work ethic, and his fight and his will to live the same way, no matter what challenges were thrown at him along the way. Tonight, I'll leave you with this. Try to live a little bit more like Chris. Treat the CEO and the janitor the same way, the best player and the worst player the same way, the wealthy and the poor the same way. No matter who it is, treat them in a way that makes them feel important. And when you commit to doing something, give everything you have to it, because you never know the impact that you can have on somebody else's life. And while you're at it, smile, just like Chris always did. Smiles make life better. Everyone in this room can help make the world a better place, just like Chris would want us to do. To the Wensler family, once again, thank you. I love you guys so much. And to Chris, I love and miss you. I hope I'm making you proud. May your memory be a blessing. Thank you.
The first word out of our next inductee's mouth was ball. From day one, Brandon Mims loved sports. What Cleveland kid doesn't? For Brandon, the sport he fell in love with right away was basketball. Well, maybe not right away. Brandon started playing basketball at age 5 at the YMCA over on Babbitt Road. From the start, he played with kids that were a year older. And basketball wasn't the only sport. Soccer, football, baseball, any sport he could find, Brandon played. Things got serious when he started playing AAU basketball for the Shaker Heat. Traveling around the region and the country, Brandon got his first taste of the road. Now, he didn't play a lot on that team at first, though his team did enjoy success. In 6th grade, his squad won the AAU National Championship. A late bloomer, Brandon's first love was actually baseball. And he used to complain to his dad, "How come I'm not tall like you?" Well, his growth spurt soon came during 10th grade. As a junior at Euclid, Mims' moment came. One of the team stars suffered an injury, so then Panther head coach Sean O'Toole, who's a JCU legend in his own right, turned to Mims. The young player didn't let him down, and from then on, Mims was a star. Coach O'Toole introduced Brandon to Coach Mike Moran, a longtime JCU head men's basketball coach. Brandon's decision came down to John Carroll and Baldwin Wallace, a nerve-wracking decision, but Brandon chose JCU. From the very first week, it was a perfect match. Brandon fell in love with John Carroll, and he quickly became a star. As a freshman, he again stepped up when an injury struck with a starter. Brandon earned honorable mention All-OAC and All-OAC tournament honors. helping JCU reach the NCAA Final Four after winning the OAC regular season and tournament titles. That team's run is the longest in program history, and that team was not long ago enshrined in this very Hall of Fame. Brandon's career continued to ascend with the 2004-2005 and the 06-07 seasons. Both teams won OAC regular season titles and made NCAA postseason runs. Brandon was the team's leading scorer both years. He garnered all Great Lakes Region Team and First Team All-OAC selections twice. Over the course of his 3 seasons played, the 6'5" forward ended his career with 1,397 points, which is ranked 9th all-time in John Carroll history. He also tabbed 743 rebounds. That's tied for 3rd in team history. He graduated with the most block shots in JCU history, 118. Also, keep in mind, Brandon played in the Moran platoon system, so those numbers could have been a little higher if you'd have seen the floor a little more often. However, Brandon credits Coach Moran for teaching him patience and teamwork. Those lessons have served him very well in life. Brandon became a first-generation college grad with his JCU degree, and a couple years after graduation, Brandon joined the United States Navy. Hailing from a family of service members, Brandon followed his dad's advice to see the world. During 3 deployments, he traveled all over the world. One of the highlights was participating in Operation Tomodachi on the USS Ronald Reagan following the 2011 earthquake and tsunami out in Japan. And now Brandon has a 14-year-old daughter named Janiyah, who is certain to make her father very proud, just as Brandon made his parents proud. Please welcome one of the all-time great basketball players in John Carroll history to the Hall of Fame from the class of 2008, Brandon Mims.
Well, thank you for the story, and like you said, I've been gone for, so I'm gonna step away from the mic, 10 years, and it's just good to be back home. A lot of things that he stated were very true. In all honesty, I feel like I'm kind of like the worst basketball player up here from hearing, everybody that's been inducted. But thank you all for coming. Coach O'Toole, I see you in the back, you made it. My high school career started, and that guy probably pushed me, well, not me, everybody to their limits. He demanded a lot from you. And me standing here as a man, I can say I appreciate that. And looking back, I can see why you did that and continue to do that and bless these kids. Thank you, Coach. The next thing I want to get to is my family. That's really why I came up here. I know it's about me, but as we all know, if it's not for the people who support you, you won't be anything. So I just want to start by, first of all, my nephew Legend, my girlfriend Jessica, my daughter Janiyah, my mother Denise, my sister, AKA best friend, AKA best man when I get married, and then my stepmother Mary, and then my dad, James Smith. Dad, can you stand up for a second? Please stand up, Dad. I wanted him to stand up, so if you guys want all of the great stories, that's who you go to after the ceremony. Appreciated that. But no, like you mentioned, my first word was ball. My dad had me playing sports since I can remember. I remember going to the batting cages. I maybe want to say I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I'm thinking I'm going to the 40 miles per hour batting cages. My dad says, no, come down here. I'm like, where? So I go down and I look, he's sinking into the 90 mile per hour batting cages. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He was like, Brandon, I'm trying to get you, it's not about right now, it's about when I'm alive. And again, now looking back, I see why you did those things, Dad. That really got me ready for college basketball. As many of you know, I wasn't 6'5", 230 as I am now. I was probably, what you think, Coach, 6'1", 6'2", maybe 180, but I played the 4 and the 5, so I had to do a lot of the dirty work, but that was okay with me, Because being a team player, I understood if nobody does that, if everybody shoots, you're not going to win. And that's one thing I do want to point out to Coach Moran. I know you hear the kids talking, he had his platoon system, but he never lied to me from day one. From day one, you know, going up to Euclid, he used to tell me, like, Brandon, you're going to have to sit. You're going to have to share the stage. And again, I am thankful that you did that. You told me the truth. And even though I wanted to play, even though my own selfish ways, I wanted to shine, I really appreciate that because at the end of the day, we won. Our 2014 did something that no team has ever done in John Carroll history. And you have to make sacrifices to get there. So I made sacrifices at the end of the day, but I'm glad I did. And again, I'm glad to be back. I thank all of you for coming. I'm not a man of many words. I was surprised, I told him, I was surprised that I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, like I said. Because all I wanted to do is make my family proud, make my dad proud, make my coaches proud, make my daughter proud, win some games, and go home, right? So at the end of the day, Coach Moran, thank you. I'm not sure how many teammates I have here, but I do know Pete. You know, we went into the back, and I saw him, even though for a quick second we shared a few memories. I haven't been back, like I said, in 10 years. Seeing that locker room, seeing the film room, which I think Coach O'Toole, Coach Moran, we spend maybe an hour or two a day. So our coaches really prepared us for what's at hand and for battle. So Rory, where's Rory at? Rory, yeah, we used to go at it at practice, and as many as you know, Rory is not the most gifted athlete, right? But I'm willing to, if I went to battle with Rory on my team, Rory was the least gifted athlete, but he worked the hardest. And guess who guarded me in practice? Him right there. So that's how I feel like I got to this stage. Again, I don't want to talk a lot. I just want to make sure I thank everybody who was here tonight to support me, to support all of these athletes. It feels good to be home. Thank you. And I'm so happy and I'm so excited. I appreciate it. All right? Okay. All right, bro. I appreciate it.
Brian Moeller was always destined to be a Blue Streak. Second oldest of 4 kids, Brian grew up in Toledo. He attended Catholic schools the whole way. That's only natural in a Catholic family. But the Moeller's family roots to John Carroll run much deeper than that. Brian's dad, Marty, graduated from JCU in 1970. 2 of his great uncles were Jesuit educators at JCU. Father James A. Moeller spent a lengthy stint as a professor at John Carroll, beginning back in 1960. And Father Joseph F. Downey also served for a time as Dean of Arts and Sciences at John Carroll back in the 1950s. Brian grew up playing a bevy of sports, but narrowed it down to tennis in high school. An all-city player for Toledo St. Francis, Brian faced 2 paths as he considered college. Path 1, try with everything I've got to go Division I and have tennis be the centerpiece of my existence. Or path 2, go to a Division III school for tennis, but get a well-rounded liberal arts education where athletics might not be the sole focus. Fortunately for John Carroll, Brian chose path 2. Brian immediately became a stellar player for the Blue Streaks. As a freshman, he won #1 doubles, finished as the runner-up in the #5 singles in OACs. During his sophomore season, he won the OAC title at #1 doubles and #6 singles. He didn't slow down in the latter stages of his career either. As a junior, he notched the OAC title at #4 singles, and then as a senior, captured the OAC crown at 3 singles and was the OAC runner-up on the #1 doubles court. Thanks in part to his efforts, John Carroll won the 1997 and 1999 OAC tournament championships, along with regular season titles in 97 and 98. The 1999 championship is still an experience Brian vividly remembers. Going into the final day of matches, JCU was an underdog, needing to sweep the remaining matches to win that title. with Brian's 7-6 win in the tie-breaking third set at number 3 singles that ensured the Blue Streaks would take home the crown. His record for most combined victories, 120, stood for nearly 20 years, and his winning percentage in singles, 890, still stands today. Brian also still owns many of the lessons he learned at JCU. The leadership skills he developed at John Carroll serve him well today. Thanks in part to the mentorship of Greg Debelak, Moeller learned to rely on strategy besides pure athleticism. It helped maximize his abilities. Thanks to those lessons and so many more, Brian joins us today. Please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 1999, Brian Moeller.
Hi, good evening. I'd like to start by thanking John Carroll and the selection committee for this great honor. It's been a while for me too since I've been back on campus. In fact, I was thinking about it today. The last time I was here was 14 plus years ago in May when my wife and I were married over at the chapel. I loved pulling up today, seeing the new tennis facility that's being built, I think that direction. That was a long time coming, and it's gonna, I'm sure, JCU tennis is already in a good place and will continue to stay that way. You know, as I was preparing for tonight, I've been reflecting on all the people who helped me achieve the athletic success that put me on this stage. There's been a lot. Some of my earliest memories are playing tennis in the street with my older brother. We strung a string across the street between 2 trees, and that's how I started to play. But for me, and I've heard it as a consistent theme throughout my fellow inductees, today is a story, really me being here is a story about me and my dad. My dad, Marty, who's here, class of 1970, John Carroll. He introduced me to the game. He kept me encouraged to keep with it. When I was learning it, he spent his weekends driving me. Tennis is a solitary sport. He was driving me around the country, or at least around the Midwest, to tournaments all over the place. Somehow, even though he runs his own law practice, he never missed a single one of my high school matches, not a one. I'm pretty sure he kept opponents and judges waiting while he watched my matches. While I was at Carroll, he came to as many matches as he could, being over in Toledo. One time, he even had to deploy his legal skills to help out my team when we got into a little bit of a something on our spring break. So that's a whole other story not for right now. But I want my dad to know that he should be standing next to me because I wouldn't be here without his support. My experience playing tennis here is something that I cherish. As I said, tennis is a solitary sport. It's you on your own, on the court, against one other person on the other side. But at Carroll, we were a team. We supported each other, and we achieved a lot in the 4 years I was here. I could name all of the players I played with, but I would just want to talk about my coach, a guy named Greg Debelak, who's now over at Case Western. He wasn't a tennis player. He moonlighted as the tennis coach while he's a football coach at Carroll. He's now the head coach at Case. But he played football and basketball at Carroll, and he knew sports. He knew strategy. He intuitively understood that I could get more out of myself than just what athletically I could summon. And I really, to this day, owe him a lot. The teamwork, the strategy, the calculated risk-taking, all of those things that I honed while I was playing tennis at Carroll. In my day job today, I'm a lawyer in New York. I use that every day, and I learned that here. So, in closing, I want to sincerely thank all my friends and family that came here to support me today, especially my wife Dana, another Blue Streak. It really means the world to me that you're here. Thank you.
Jamie Smurdell may have been a baseball star rather than a softball star. Up until high school, Smurdell had only played baseball. But her high school, Beaumont, just 5 minutes down the road, only offered softball. Interestingly enough, on the first day of Beaumont softball practice, the coach kind of wandered over to Jamie's dad and said, "Has your daughter ever played softball before?" And her dad says, "No," as Jamie promptly hits a home run on her first swing. "What do you mean she's never played softball before?" the coach said. A great athlete, Smurdell also played volleyball in high school. Then she tore her rotator cuff, scaring off a few Division I programs. Now, her dad's a JCU grad, so Jamie applied to JCU first. She was accepted, fell in love with the school, the program, and the people. Didn't take long for Smurdell to become a standout at John Carroll. She soon developed into a star catcher. Smurdell became the first softball player in school history to be named a first-team All-American, the best catcher in the country. A four-time All-OAC honoree, she made her first team as a senior in 2009, along with the NFCA Diamond Catcher of the Year award. As the team's backstop, Smurdell enjoyed many memorable moments, some good, some bad. One of the negatives, she got hit 13 times in one game in the mask with foul balls. 13 times. But positives abounded too. Smurdell guided the Blue Streaks to a second-place finish in the OAC back in 2009. That 09 Blue Streaks team also set a program record for wins in a season with 26. Smurdell's efforts made her a dynamite power hitter, and an excellent hitter aided the team's program's ascent. Just 1 year later, the Blue Streaks would win the program's first ever OAC championship. As of her induction this evening, Smurdell ranks first in program career history in slugging percentage, on-base percentage, doubles, home runs, RBIs, total bases, walks, and intentional walks. Now you might think all those stats have been celebrated with high fives or happy trip around the bases. Not quite for Jamie. She was such a competitor and got so hyped, she celebrated in a different way, by throwing up behind the trees over at Bracken Field. She's still competitive today. Jamie serves as Kirtland's softball coach, also serving as a special education teacher over at Kirtland. She doesn't celebrate the same way, thankfully, but she does still stay in touch with her professors, even bringing her kids in for Dr. Masterson's psychology class so the longtime JCU professor could teach child development. That's the definition of a woman for others. Please welcome to the John Carroll University Athletic Hall of Fame from the class of 2009, Jamie Smurdell.
He also forgot to mention I hit a lot of triples. I want to start by thanking the committee for nominating me and my fellow inductees for this honor. Thank you to the Blue and Gold Club for the constant support of the student athletes here, and John Carroll University for the amazing education and life lessons that I had the opportunity to receive. I would like to thank my former coaches at John Carroll, Gretchen Whitebreck, Aaron Brooks, and Kim Tackett for believing in me and teaching me more than just the game. Because of you ladies, I had the opportunity to play the game I love, the opportunity to learn more about the sport and how to be a leader. This has shown me how to care about something that is bigger than myself, and how to coach and mentor students with the same enthusiasm that was given to me. I'd like to thank my high school coach who's with us here tonight, Mr. Patrick McKinley, for getting me into softball and teaching me about life and igniting a passion for the game itself. You, sir, are one of the main reasons I continue to coach and to inspire the next generation of athletes to be the best they can be. I'm still using your phrase, take your time, but hurry up. This is something that he would constantly say, and honestly, it's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever learned. I want to thank my former teammates from Carroll, Beaumont, Travel Ball, and my travel ball coaches, who were not only teammates and coaches, but became family along the way. Today, we're still a family. We battled together, we laughed together, we cried together, we partied together. We were there for each other in good times and bad. Regardless of where we came from, we became a support system for each other and a safe haven to navigate life's challenges, like the 5:30 a.m. practices that started with the Boiler Room Challenge. Those stairs in track will never be forgotten. Today, these girls are still family no matter our physical distance. We are still bound by friendship. That's one of the most special things about John Carroll. We're a family, and we're always able to keep the motto of onward on, especially during a night out or at a wedding. I'd like to thank my family and friends for the love and support throughout the years to get to this point. To my brother Luke, thank you for making me the player I was by practicing in our front yard when we were younger. And by practicing, I mean hitting balls at me as hard as he could and telling me to block them. Or by throwing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball at me and telling me just to open my eyes. If I didn't catch it, I'm pretty sure my mom would have killed us again. My absolute favorite, though, was playing home run derby in our backyard, but the rule was you had to hit the ball over the house for it to be a home run. My parents really loved that game. In all seriousness, though, Luke, you were and are still there for me to talk through things and make everything okay. As an adult, it's even better because we get to coach together at the same school and yell at each other through the diamonds and teach our teams to battle it out during wiffle ball. It's all worth it because I get to see you every day and you inspire me to be the best I can. I want to thank my sister-in-law, Christine, who supported me throughout my time at Carroll as well, whether it be talking or just helping me with homework. I'm thankful for the time, and especially now, that you've become an amazing sister to have in my family. Dad, thank you for the endless hours of working and perfecting my swing. I remember when we were little and we would watch you and Mom play softball. We would hit for hours after your games. Don't worry, we learned our toughness from you too. Luke and I would hit the ball hard and the next pitch my dad would throw at us. And at that point, Luke and I would just laugh at each other because we knew what was going to happen if we got a good hit. Dad, thank you for the endless talks and getting my mental approach to the game down as well. You really prepared me for college ball. There was this time when I was 6 years old and I was playing outfield. My dad had to get Luke to his game, and he waved at me and said, "Hey, Jay, I'll see you after the game." I yelled from right field, "See you at the bar, Dad." Let's be honest, not much has changed from that game. In all seriousness, though, Dad, thank you for your hard work with me. You're the best coach, an amazing father, and your support has followed me along every step of the way. Mom, thank you for your endless hours of putting up with me. You were able to coach me in every sport that I showed interest in. I'm pretty sure that wasn't easy. You taught me so much about the game and just being a good person. Importantly, you taught me how to be one hell of a mom. I'll never forget the endless hours of driving to practices and tournaments, the endless hours of you coaching. You put your heart and soul into it, and I'm thankful for that. I look forward to doing that with our boys. My mom was the team mom. She would coach us up, but at the same time put us in our place. She was the voice of reason while at the same time being just enough crazy that if we messed around, we knew not to. One of the best times we had was my senior year at John Carroll. Brooks asked my mom to come to Florida and be a chaperone in one of the houses, and to drive one of the vans because Tackett wasn't old enough, or because she had a really bad driving record. It was one of the two. I had the tournament of a lifetime there. My roommate's mom was bragging about me and talking me up, and one of the All-American coaches that were there for voting watched me and was listening. He thought my roommate's mom was my mom. However, when we showed up in New Jersey for the All-American Award, he was like, "Wait a second, you're her mom?" And that's my mom. She would sit there, she would enjoy the game, but she would still say her infamous line of, "Shit, Jamie," when you didn't do something good. This sums up my mom, though. She's always there, she's always supportive, and able to put me in my place, but willing to work endless hours without recognition to make sure that I get what we need in life. Mom, thank you for all you do for me and my family. I want to thank my husband, Matthew. Even though we didn't go to Carroll together, he's really made life worthwhile. We've been blessed with 2 amazing boys who I hope will be inspired by this award and experiences to see how hard work ultimately has a great reward in the end. Thank you to my in-laws for all that you do for our family and the support you've given us. You've given me the best gift of all, your son. I knew Matthew was a keeper right from one of our first dates. We were at the Drew Carey's bar in Old Brooklyn, and Matt just started rambling off my stats from college. He finished my stats with, "Oh, so you were actually pretty good, huh?" I guess he did his research. A short time later, we went to a fundraiser in downtown Willoughby, and we ran into a crew that graduated from Carroll. And one of the guys was like, "Hey, the home run hitter from Carroll's here." And Matt goes, "Yeah, that's my girl." I wonder if Matt knew how much time he was going to be spending at the batting cages with me. Matt, you're always supporting me, and you always push me to be the best I can, and I appreciate that. Even when I'm correcting your swing in the kitchen when you still drop your shoulder and it's a fake swing. You mean the world to me, and I'm happy to be raising our future home run hitters with you. Thank you to my former players, my current players, my future players for allowing me to teach you what I learned at Carroll and letting me be part of your journey. I love that I get to inspire the next generation of athletes. This would not be possible without attending John Carroll. John Carroll has been a huge part of my life. I learned how to be a teacher and a coach here. I had the best of times, and I learned how to work through adversity. I learned how to succeed, and when I failed, how to get back up and fight another day. Ultimately, I learned how to be a good person and live a life through faith, love, and service. I left Carroll being a better person. I hope that I'm able to leave this positive impact on everyone I meet moving forward, just like the people at John Carroll did for me. Thank you for this opportunity and this recognition. It means the world and more than you'll ever know. The last thing I'm going to say is that I'm grateful that I got to come to John Carroll and do the 2 things in life I've always wanted to do: have a good time and hit dingers. Thanks, guys.
In the storied history of John Carroll men's soccer, plenty of teams have enjoyed success. In the program's glorious history, 58 teams have donned the blue and gold. Now, a total of 14 teams have won OAC regular season championships. 9 teams have won the OAC tournament title. 9 teams have made it to the NCAA tournament. But before tonight, none had been inducted into the Hall of Fame. But then again, the 2003 men's soccer team is that special. The 2003 Blue Streaks became the first squad in the program's history to win an NCAA tournament game. The 03 squad tied for the OAC regular season title and won the OAC tournament crown as well. But the team's accomplishments alone do not define them. Rather, resilience characterizes this team. Just a few games into the season, Captain TJ Kolba suffered a season-ending injury. Defender Brandon DiGiulio also became injured midway through the year. He had to miss the rest of the season. But with this team, it just wouldn't matter. A glimpse of what was to come seen early on in that campaign. On the road in New Jersey, the Blue Streaks upended the 2001 national champions Richard Stockton 3-1. That victory gave the team the confidence that not only could it make noise at the conference level, but just maybe nationally as well. After non-conference play, the Blue Streaks got to work during the OAC. The cold winds of November rolled in. The Blue Streaks found themselves in good shape, tying for the conference title in the regular season. With a 7-2 mark, including a loss to defending conference champion Otterbein, the team would need to win on the road. In 2002, Otterbein defeated JCU in the OAC championship, and later went on to become NCAA runner-up. So the 2003 OAC title game had a little extra on the line. Enter future Hall of Famer Chris Heslop. Early on, the senior set the tone with a beautiful goal in the 6th minute. The score stood at 1-0 until midway through the second half when Heslop struck again. In the 60th minute this time, he provided an insurance goal, pushing the lead to 2. But Otterbein struck back with a goal in the 72nd minute. 18 minutes remaining, and they were madness. John Carroll turned away chance after chance and stood as champions with a 2-1 victory. The journey was not over for this team. In the opening round of the NCAA tournament, the Blue Streaks achieved a program first. Kevin Papp authored the lone goal in a 1-0 victory over Ohio Wesleyan in a true road game, giving JCU men's soccer its first NCAA postseason conquest. Making it all the more impressive, the fact that starting goalie Phil Mansell, another future Hall of Famer, broke his leg early in the game. John Garber, who would have started on just about any other team in the country, entered in relief and kept a clean sheet. The Blue Streaks got another win in the next round. Milko Chachez and Dusty Stalmach scored to give JCU a 2-1 victory over Carnegie Mellon. But a day later, JCU's storybook run came to an end. Despite owning more chances and shots, the Blue Streaks fell to Dominican 2-0. Still, the legacy of this team lives on. No team in program history has gotten as far in the postseason as the 2003 squad. In telling the story of this team, we also keep in mind Josh Burnott, a member of this group who tragically passed away in a skiing accident back in 2013. We remember Josh's memory tonight as we recollect that special season. 2003 team is one we will never forget. This team is the perfect example of how special moments can come despite adversity. What they achieved will echo throughout the history of the program. To speak on the 2003 men's soccer team, please welcome to the stage the head coach of that team and JCU Hall of Famer, Ali Kazamani.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. I see the bartender is gone and the tables are all full of glasses, so that's a good start for us. One wise man always told me that if you think about doing something, don't wait, do it right away. You never know what happens later on in life. And so when I had this chance to come to John Carroll, I took it. I must say hello to a few people, if you don't mind, before focusing on this team. I think I brought the wrong piece of paper out of my car, but we'll figure it out. Anyhow, when I got here, I didn't used to have glasses, but you know, time goes by and things change, right? John DeCello is the one that introduced me to John Carroll University at a golf outing over asking me to pass the butter to put on his baked potato during the steak dinner after the golf outing. Tony DiCarlo greeted me right here, saying hello to everyone up there. It's my duty to do so. He looked at me and said, hey, you play at the Coliseum, you're good enough for me, come and coach the soccer team. So that was Tony's comment. Next was Chris Wenzler. Came up to me and said, Coach, congratulations for coming to JCU. Only thing I'm gonna ask you to do is just beat Hiram. I don't care what you do the rest of the year, just beat Hiram. Only I found out what that meant because the final game of the season was against Hiram and the winner took the OAC title. And he reminded me before the game that I need to do that. So Chris, I'm glad we got the 92 championship up there for you. And Josh Burnott. Wonderful player, loved him like my kid. And this is also for Josh as well, so hello, Josh. Defining moment of every program has a defining moment, right? And this particular group of young, good-looking men here and athletes definitely defined John Carroll men's soccer. They were fearless, they were eager to learn, and most importantly for me, they were very humble. Good group of guys, but locally, Phil Mansell, Kevin Petorek, Chris Haslip, TJ Koba, and Dusty Stolmek were kind of superstars of the local club soccer scene. Once they decided to come over here, I think we started to make noise around the country, and followed with them Milko and Dayan, who, congratulations, as currently is the new head coach at school as we speak. So nothing really much to say other than everything that we've talked about these guys. For me, it was an honor. It was a personal thing for me because Cleveland has had such a big impact in my life. And I'm glad that I could put Cleveland kids and other kids in John Carroll on the map. And I continue to do that even currently today. I want to congratulate all of these guys. It's good to see them. The uniqueness of every group, every gathering is that it'll never be the same again. So I enjoy this moment, seeing some old faces, some new faces, and most importantly, all of these guys. And I want to go down the line if I don't mess up the names, okay, but I try not to. Danny Hinkle, Chris Eyring, Brian Pender, Drew Pato, Phil Mansell. Yeah, you guys can give him a round of applause. Brandon Kosar, California, Chad Van Eggs right there, Kevin Petorek, Dusty Stolmek, Chris Haslip is on the phone. Where is he? Where is Chris? Florida, nice. Okay, Dave Curry, Brandon DeGiulio, Milko Cheches, Dejan Mladenovic, and John Garber over here. Please give him a round of applause for being here tonight. Hey, by the way, somebody else was supposed to talk tonight. You know, they didn't want to take the penalty kick up here, so that's all right. I'll take one for the team. Hopefully I don't miss. I want to follow all the other inductees by thanking my wife, Shelly Casamani, over there. Hello, honey. And the 2003 also was a special year for me because my daughter was born, Zara Casamani over there. Of course, 2005, once you have one, you got to have a second one. And then whatever you get for the first one, you got to get for the second one, right? So 2005, we won the OAC title. Dayan scored, and I think he ran out of the stadium, and I followed him, right? I remember that, if you guys remember this. And my son was born, and thank you, God, because if he wasn't born, that would have been the end of the Casamanis. He's the one. My brother, my sister, they all have girls. So I was under a lot of pressure, so I'm glad I delivered that one too. Okay, I just want to congratulate all the inductees. I want to thank the committee. I know they spent endless hours turning every stone, trying to be fair to everyone. So thank you all for that. Congratulations to the inductees. And I also want to say something in regards to Mia, because people always ask, hey, you didn't have a bad coaching career. Well, I'm hoping it's not over. I get to coach a little bit another time once my kids get out of the house a little bit, So, but they always ask me, who had the most influence in your coaching? And how funny it is that when I look back, it was right here behind these walls. Gentleman named Mike Moran, who's sitting right over here. Let's give him a round of applause, please. I remember Coach Straub was also here. Thank you, Coach Straub. He's looking down at us. He was the assistant with Mike Moran. He brought me, the office is right behind over here, and he handed me 20 pairs of old basketball shorts for our first preseason training with men's soccer. So, wonderful man, and I started, watching the basketball practices. The passion that this man showed running training sessions, giving confidence to players to want to win games, giving confidence to players in life, and yet being a gentle giant off the court. And helping in any way that they needed help with. So I studied this man, whether he knows it or not. This is the first time, obviously, I'm saying this because he's here. And he's had the most impact in my coaching career. So, and every year that he won one, I had to go and win one to compete with this guy. That's why if you look at those banners up there, we're pretty similar up there. Of course, he went further and deservedly so. So Coach Moran, thank you for everything. Outside of that, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank the players. I'm sure we will thank all of their wives and kids too to follow the suit, and appreciate everything that John Carroll has done for me and for my team. Thank you very much and have a good evening. All right, gents. Good? All righty, thank you. Team picture, guys? Can we get a picture? Smile, dude. You gotta go. I would do it. There we go.
On behalf of the Blue Gold Club and the John Carroll Athletic Department, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Special thank you goes out to Michelle Morgan, to Al Mikiak, Father Pip, Brian Filikowski, Katie Hine, Candace Pluhar, Melissa Wensler, Rory O'Neill, Rory Hill, Adam DeLang, and Dejan Mladenovic, everyone else who made this night possible. We are so grateful that you were able to join us tonight. For our inductees, please be sure to grab your tickets for tomorrow's game. We're excited to honor you at halftime of the homecoming game tomorrow against Muskingum. Have a wonderful rest of the night. Please drive home safely. Go Blue Streaks.